Rob from RLS Computer Services, and today we're going to set up some Ubiquiti G3 Pro cameras on the Unifi Protect platform. Now we've already got some existing cameras on that platform, but we just want to extend the coverage. We're going to go through the unboxing of those cameras, we're going to go through how we set those up and initialize them, and I'm also going to show you how we set it up on my phone. Now if you like this kind of video, please go ahead and like and subscribe, and so let's jump straight into it. Okay, so let's get this unit unboxed. And as I said, this is the G3 Pro from Ubiquiti. And one of the things that I like about Ubiquiti equipment is it comes really well packaged. It comes in a really solid box. All the equipment that comes in the box, no matter if it's the cameras, the access points, the switches, it really comes in a real solid bit of packaging. So whilst we're going through that, let's have a look at some of the specifications we're dealing with here. So this unit is a aluminium alloy mounted device. The actual unit itself is also polycarbonate. The entire thing has an IP rating of 67. What that really means is that it's dust-proof, totally dust-proof to a level of 6, and it's protected against the effects of temporary immersion between 15 centimeters and 1 meter for no more than about 30 minutes, and that's the 7. So to put that into context, you're never really going to have yourself in a situation where this thing's going to have a problem being used outdoors. These are really good outdoor cameras. I have a few of these already myself. They really do work outdoors really, really well. Okay, so it's got an optical sensor there of 2 megapixel sensor, 3 times powered zoom on there. It has a 108 degrees horizontal and 58 degrees viewing angle on that. It also has a built-in IR LED. So these are actually quite good when you're using them at night. So I like these for night vision. They're really, really good. The video compression on that is a H.264 with a resolution of 1920 by 1080, which is a 16:9 ratio. Your maximum frame rate on this is 30 frames per second. And one of the things that people ask me is, how do these cameras actually work? How are they powered? Well, these are powered using PoE. So this is power over the Ethernet. You would plug your cable into that, and that cable will provide both the data going to the Unifi Protect, and of course the power going up to the camera. What we normally recommend we do in those scenarios is we put in a switch that has PoE behind it, and then that will power the cameras like we do with the access points, but at the same time draw down on the actual the data. The operating temperatures of these is -20 to 50 degrees centigrade, so perfectly fine for our British weather. And when you actually install these units, to obtain that IP rating, you really do need to lock it in. So the tool that you see me using here is one that will lock in the device in all the different areas so that it creates a nice solid connection. There's also a grommet in there as well to make sure that the water can't ingress at all. So there is your Ubiquiti G3 Pro camera unboxed. Okay, so now let's get the remaining of these G3 Pro cameras unboxed and get them set up. What I do to get those set up is I will plug them into my 16-port USW PoE switch. Then I would look for them using my app and get them set up. So let's get the rest of these units unboxed and get them set up. so now I've actually got the cameras connected to my USW 16 port PoE switch. It's time to adopt them into the Unifi Protect platform. Now, just so you know, I've actually already gone ahead and installed these cameras. The camera's already up, which I'm going to now show you on a later video. So they're already up, but I've got a camera that hasn't been adopted yet. So we're going to go through that adoption here on my phone right now. So I've got my phone here. We're going to go ahead and adopt that. So we're going to fire up the Unifi Protect application, and as you can see straight away, it's asking me to, it's found a camera and it's asking me to adopt it. So go ahead and adopt that. Okay, so if I now look in my view here, you can see how quickly that adopted. So there it is, the 3G Pro camera at the bottom of my list. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So the camera has been adopted, and just so you're aware, if the camera required any kind of firmware update, it would also go ahead and do that firmware update. So we now need to go and do some further setting on that. So let's go to settings and camera name, and we're going to go up here to camera, and we're just going to give it a name. There we go. Let's get done. So I've given the camera a name. We can also go into certain other settings as well. So we can, the microphone, for example, has a setting for 100%. We can leave that alone. The infrared settings on there, we've got auto filter only, no LEDs, always enable, disable, and the intensity of that, and the sensitivity of it. So we can go here, you can see we're quite linear here in the settings. We can actually go in and change a heck of a lot, but I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave that as its default settings. I can adjust the camera picture, so I can also adjust the brightness, the contrast, the hue, etc., etc. Again, I'm going to leave all that to the default. The information overlay, so this is basically what gets recorded on the camera. I'm going to leave it as name and time and take the logo off. That's what we typically do, so that when you get a timestamp, you've got the time and date stamp on the video and the name of the camera that recorded it. So we'll put that on there. If we go over to recording mode, now we can do some further settings. So we can go in here, we can say when to record. So we say always, or via detection, or never. Detections to record, well, motion. So that's one of the features of the Unifi Protect and these particular cameras. Basically, you can record any kind of motion. So cars going past, people walking past, cats. Detection record settings, I'm going to leave those alone to the default settings. We don't need to change that. And then there's these two other features in the Unifi Protect, which I think are really, really good. So we've got motion zones. At the moment, the entire area is a motion zone, but you can add a motion zone and you can say where you want to detect that motion. So if, for example, I wanted to say, I want to know when there was cars pulling up into my drive, what I can do is I can set that here, and as a zone, give it a name. So I could just say something like, I don't know, driveway. Go done. Okay, and then adjust the sensitivity of that. So I can actually create different kind of motion zones, and on my detections, when those motion zones are triggered, they get recorded. I don't want that at the moment, so I'm just going to delete that one. And if we go back, we've got privacy zones. Now, privacy zones, again, are a very useful feature for protecting the privacy of your neighbors and areas that you just don't want to really record. So we can go ahead and add a privacy zone. We get another polygon up there, so I'm just going to drag that in that corner there. I'm going to drag that over here. So what you're doing is you're just creating an area where you just don't need to be recording. So I want to be able to record the road, but I don't want to record my neighbors. So I just create a zone like that. You can see on the screen there that I've got this nice little triangle now that just basically won't get recorded. It's just got that little private zone there. So I'm going to give it a name. And we're going to call this private 1. Okay, so then I've got my little privacy zone there. So let's go back one. So that is pretty much the settings that you need to do on these cameras. They're very simple, very quick. The app is designed to be very simple, very simple. You can go into a bit more details on via the web GUI, but I find the app just quick, easy, straightforward, and allows you to get the job done. If we go back now, we can have a look at the camera. We can see a little live view of the camera, and as you can see there in the top right hand corner, there's that little privacy area that just doesn't get recorded. You've got a button there with the guy with the speeds lines coming off him. That would be your detections. Obviously there's no detections because we've only just installed it. And then you got your cog that will bring you back into certain settings, which we're not going to cover on this video. Okay, so basically that's how you go ahead and you install the cameras using the Unifi Protect app. How did you find that? Was that useful? Did that explain how we go about installing these kind of systems? Please let us know in the comments below. Also, please go ahead, like and subscribe. We're hoping to do more videos like this going forwards. We actually have a second part 2 of this video, which is me installing the cameras and actually putting them up and installing that 16-port USW PoE switch in my loft space in my home to power those 3 cameras. All right, great stuff. So again, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Hope you've enjoyed it. My name's Rob from OLS Computer Services. Have a great day.